everyone, and welcome to my BookTube channel. I also have a MangaTube channel, so if manga is more your vibe, I will have the link for that down below. But I created this channel because I would love to talk about books and just to get to know me a little bit and see if you want to stick around. I decided to do a 20 question book tag. I have my list down here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I can't remember the questions without looking at them. The first question is, how many books is too many books in a series? I think that really depends. Series that are have really short books, like Every Heart a Doorway and the Murderbot Diaries, these series could go on for 30 plus books and I would still pick up every single one of them because they're just so small. Books that are 500 pages or more, I usually like to stick with like trilogies, but I think it really depends on the story. Sometimes you want more and sometimes you want less, but trilogies, I like trilogies the best. Question number 2 is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? I understand why authors do cliffhangers. It gets everyone amped up for the next book in the series, and it's a great marketing tactic. I personally hate cliffhangers unless I'm reading a series that all the books are already out. And then I don't really mind because you can have a cliffhanger and then I'll just pick up the next book. It doesn't matter. Question number 3 is hardcover or paperback. I usually prefer paperbacks because I like having my pretty covers and I like the ease of reading a paperback. I really don't like it when you get a hardback and the cover on the inside is just like a solid color with a plain spine. Like, that's so boring to me, especially because I don't usually read hardbacks with the dust jacket on. But I will get hardbacks when they have like really beautiful covers underneath the dust jacket. But overall, I like paperbacks. My favorite book, I decided to pick 3 favorites, just again, so you guys can get a taste of like the books that I really enjoy. So my favorite fantasy book is Traitor's Blade. This is the first book in the Greatcoat series, which is a 4-book series. I love this series. It is my favorite fantasy series. I'm so sorry. It's my favorite fantasy series. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. It's really good. My favorite sci-fi book is A Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet. This is also the first book in the series, but I read the rest of this series and just didn't really care for the other books as much as this one. I absolutely love this book. And then I decided to pick a romance because I started reading romance last year. I had never read romance before. And my favorite romance that I've read so far is Radiance. I just really loved the couple and the slow burn of it and the friendship to lovers, friends to lovers, I think that's what it's called. I loved that aspect of this book. So those are 3 of my favorites. Love triangles, yes or no? I am okay with love triangles if they end in polyamory, which is almost never. Like, can we get more polyamory in books? That would be awesome. And more books that just have like really good friendships. Can we get that too? That'd be awesome. Ooh, I skipped a question. Least favorite book. I don't know if I really have a least favorite book because usually if I'm not enjoying a book, I'll DNF it. Well, actually, you know what? I do have one, I guess, that is a least favorite. The Golden Enclaves, the last book in the Skullmounts trilogy. I hated the last book. I loved the first 2 books. I thought they were so good. I loved the ending of the second book, which is a cliffhanger. And I read the 3rd book and I hated it. And so I never bought it. I just kept the 2 books that I loved and I'm pretending it's a duology. Most recent book you just couldn't finish, that would be The Heart of Thornwell. This is a proper romance, I think is what it's called. And I just could not stand the male lead. Like, he is just a complete and total jerk. And I'm tired of reading romances where the male lead, the one that you're supposed to root for or whatever, is just a complete asshat. Like, I just can't. I don't want to read those kinds of books. So this one I couldn't finish. I dropped it. The next question is a book that I'm currently reading. I am reading Morning Star. It is the last book in the original Red Rising trilogy, which is now 6 books and I think will be complete in 7 books. But I'm currently reading this. It's really good. It is up for another sci-fi favorite. Yeah, really good. Book I recommended to someone would be Trader's Blade. I recommended it to my dad and my brother, and they both read it and loved it. And my dad read the entire series, and my brother is on BookTube. So, yay. Oldest book I've read would be Aesop's Fables. I had to look this up because I don't know when any of the books that I read have been published. But yeah, Aesop's Fables is the oldest published book that I have ever read. And the next question is the newest book that I've read, and this is the newest published, Multitude of Dreams, and it was pretty good. Favorite author? I think I have quite a few. I really like Martha Wells, Sebastian de Castell, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, Seanan McGuire, who also goes by Mira Grant. Love their stuff. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot, but those are just the ones that are coming to mind at the moment. Buying books or borrowing books? I actually borrow books. The majority of the time I will borrow books from my library and read them, and then if I love them, they end up on my shelves. I do have some books on my shelves that I have not read yet, and it's because I got them from my local thrift store for like $2 a piece. And so that's why I have them. But most of the time I will borrow books, and then if they become a favorite, they go on my shelves. A book you dislike that everyone seems to love. That would be No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. I know that you're not supposed to like the main character, but I really did not like the main character. Especially, I DNF'd it when I got to the part where he watches his wife get essayed and doesn't do anything. I had to stop. I couldn't read anymore. The next question is bookmarks or dog ears. I am a bookmark person. I don't dog ear my books. I'm fine if other people dog ear their books. It's not something that like makes me cringe seeing somebody else dog ear their books, but don't dog ear my books if you borrow them. A book you can always reread, that would be The Hobbit from J.R.R. Tolkien. I grew up with my dad reading the Tolkien books to me when I was little. And I have just loved them ever since. They have a lot of nostalgia for me, and they're just really good books. Can you read while listening to music? Yes, I can, and I do. I love listening to music, and I love reading, and so often I will do both at the same time. Single POV or multiple POVs? I love multiple POVs. Most of my favorite books have multiple POVs, and it's just fun getting into the minds of multiple characters and really seeing what makes them them. So that's, yeah, multiple POVs. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? That depends on the length of the book and how much I'm enjoying it. If it's like 350 pages or less and I'm really enjoying it, I can read it in a day. If it's 400 pages or more, it usually takes me multiple days. Sometimes, like with nonfiction, even if it's, you know, under 200 pages, it can take me a couple weeks to read because nonfiction just feels more dense to me, depending on the nonfiction. But yeah, so that is the end of the 20 question book tag. I will have all the questions down below if you want to film your own. And if you do, tag me in it or send it to me. I would love to watch it. And if you guys stuck around, thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you guys subscribe and leave me some comments because I love to chat and make some friends. And I'm sorry that my voice has just kind of made this video a little weird. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye. Single pool, but yeah, that's how I feel about, or that's